So we have just had another batch of shorts at the Romford Horrific Film Festival, and now we are sitting down to talk to some of the creators, cast and crew of a couple of the shorts. Do me a favour and let's go down the line and let people know who you are and what you did on what short.
Hi, so my name's Daniel and I'm the writer-director of Seed of Doubt.
My name is Miguel Toledo Menendez and I'm the writer-director of the Nonexistence.
My name is Javier Toledo Menendez and I'm the main lead in Nonexistence.
My name is Soleil Sferlazza and I did the art direction, makeup, acting, that's it, I think. Yeah.
A little bit of everything. So this was your film, really, wasn't it?
No.
Basically.
Where exactly, for our two directors, where exactly did this movie, your shorts, come from? What was the initial inception, the initial idea?
Go ahead.
Sure, so I grew up in quite a religious Jewish community in North London. I lost my faith, in my teenage years, and like many teenagers, I suppose. And I had a real interest in Jewish folklore. There's kind of some famous ones, such as kind of golems and dibbuks that have kind of permeated popular culture. So when I got to my early 20s, I just felt like I really wanted to make a film set in this kind of Yiddish shtetl world, which always fascinated me, and it felt like the perfect way to talk about some of those themes of existentialism and losing faith. And so I kind of started reading a lot of Yiddish folklore, a lot of Jewish folklore, particularly the stories of Isaac Bashevis Singer, who, for those who don't know, is a Nobel Prize winning short story writer, came from the shtetls, emigrated to the US, and in those short stories I found a really strong kind of the right tone that I wanted to emulate in terms of folklore mixed in with a kind of existential dread and a kind of mythic, poetic quality. So, yeah.
For me, I had spent like a year and a half writing a script for a feature-length film and kind of developing a feature-length, which was kind of a lot of work on the same project for a long time. So part of it was just kind of doing something more fun, more sporadic. We just shot in a couple of days just between like kind of with friends and very close-knit family type of production. And also then another part of it is that I feel like a lot of the things that I was drawn to before that were very horror adjacent, but never fully in genre. So I wanted to give like a little bit of an incursion into that and explore like different types of existence, kind of like the live plane, then the kind of vampire who's like half dead, and then kind of the ghost, which is like a dead spirit. So that was like interesting to me as an experience.
And with Seed of Doubt, obviously touching on a lot of themes and a lot of tones that you have to be quite respectful towards. How did you manage to kind of make that balance with the movie and make sure you got everything spot on, if you know what I mean? Like, what was your approach to that?
Do you mean tonally?
Totally, yeah.
It's a tricky one because the tone of the film it's kind of broad in a way. It leans into a kind of fairy tale tone, fairy tale structure. It's kind of heightened. The dialogue's quite heightened, and then I guess what I wanted to do was really kind of lure an audience into a fairy tale horror, folk horror kind of vibe, and then as the film went on, kind of subvert that, make it more complicated what you're watching, and then in the film's second half, make you feel like actually maybe this film is kind of something else completely, and maybe it kind of in a way isn't really a horror film, kind of uses the tropes of horror, uses the genre to kind of talk about other things. And I don't know, I guess I was hoping that by the end of the film people would question whether any of this horror actually existed in the world, and what was projection of the characters and what's actually reality. So in terms of finding that tone, I don't know, it's a hard one to answer because it's so intuitive, I suppose, but that was at least what I was trying to do with it.
And when you have your movie sorted, you've got your story sorted that you want to tell, and this is to both you guys. How do you go about casting and getting these roles right? Because both movies, they needed to be right. You had to have the right cast in the right spaces. So how did you go about that? Was it people you knew? Did you draw on people around you, or how did you get that done?
Well, I just happen to have very creative, well, we're actually brothers, and she's actually my partner. So I happen to have very creative people in my circle, because they're like amazing artists in their own right as well. And then the girl that gets possessed towards the end, she's also like a friend of ours who is an actress. So they were just people that felt right, but they were totally from just my direct circle. And yeah, so it was very easy in that sense. You know, I didn't really search. I just, all of them kind of fit with these people that I was seeing kind of every day.
What was that like? You're now working with your brother. You're working with your partner. I mean, independent filmmaking can break relationships at the best of times.
I think that it was pretty easy. I feel like to a certain extent he made this project kind of to like actually get back out there and start shooting something that, you know, felt more relaxed. So I feel like in a certain sense he probably wrote the characters already knowing who was going to play them. And for me, you know, he's been actually directing and making his own short movies for so many years, and this is the first time that I've gotten like a role in one of them. So for me, it was really exciting, and it was fun. It was tough wearing the nails and wearing the makeup and wearing the fangs and stuff. But other than that, honestly, we had a great time. I don't know about you though. You had more work than me.
We had responsibilities, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I've been doing like art direction and makeup and things like that for him for a while, but I never was behind the screen, and so that was my first time as well being in one of his films or short films, and so it was very interesting, and I think it took me out of my comfort zone, and I really enjoyed the process, and I really loved the whole short, yeah. And I also did, yeah, like as I was behind the scenes in my own costume, I was also doing like the makeup and taking off the makeup and setting up the scenes. So it was very like a tiny crew, and that made it special as well. So.
And yourself in terms of casting?
Well, you might have seen on the screen I was at the NFTS, that this was my graduation film from that film school, so not quite the family affair that you guys have. It was a really tough casting process because the script is in Yiddish, which is a language that people don't really speak anymore unless they're from the kind of ultra-Orthodox Hasidic community of Stamford Hill or somewhere in America, New York. So that really narrowed the pool of people we could cast, and none of the actors speak Yiddish in real life, but it narrowed it in terms of they had to be able to both act really well and learn the Yiddish of the script specifically. So we had a Yiddish translator and a coach, and he came in and he kind of coached the actors, and in the recalls I made sure that I was casting actors who were able to kind of act in language they didn't really understand what they were saying. They had the translation, but it was tough for them. They had their mind on many things, so the casting, it was really tough. But then I found Lizzie, who plays Hadassah, and in a way, when I saw her tape, it wasn't exactly what I imagined. I kind of wanted maybe something a bit more conventionally horror for the main character, but I thought she brought actually a real humanity to it, brought the whole thing to a grounded level, which I loved, and I felt so much of her grief and her pain, and I think she holds the film together so much.
I think her performance is really good.
Thank you. Yeah, she's so talented. Yeah.
And both your movies, totally very different, of course, but both visually striking. What was it like seeing something that looks as gorgeous that you guys filmed up on the screen today?
Well, thank you so much for saying that, first and foremost. And I mean, this is very special for us because this is the first showing of this film. And so it's very special. Thank you so much, obviously, to the festival for selecting it. And yeah, it was just very special to be able to be here, the three of us. And yeah, I don't know, enjoyed it for sure. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Do you guys have anything to say about that?
I mean, it's been, we took the 2 planes this morning to be here, and we just made it a whole ass trip. So you know, we're really close, the three of us. So it really just gave us an excuse to have fun, and also like it's absolutely amazing to see the work we did on the big screen for the first time for me. So it's amazing. I don't know if you.
Thank you.
And yeah, likewise, thank you so much for screening our film. I was actually quite surprised in a way that Romford chose the film, only because it kind of sits uncomfortably in the horror genre. Like, it is a horror film, but I have been told by people that they feel like, is it a horror film, is it not? It kind of blurs those boundaries, so I'm really happy that you guys felt that you would like to share it at a genre festival, because I wanted it to come to genre festivals. And yeah, I think the film kind of, it just works best in the cinema, because it's just so big, I guess. Like, the scale of it and the kind of 2001: A Space Odyssey kind of psychedelic thing just doesn't really hit on the laptop.
That
So
looks great.
yeah, thank you. I mean, it's always fun.
I mean, you can sit there and you can thank us all you want, but you guys submitted these films, you guys made these films, and that in itself is a victory. So thank you for giving it to us. I don't know why you're saying thank you to us. Any creative can tell me exactly what's wrong with their movie when they see it up on the screen, but I like to flip that a little bit. What are you most proud of, apart from seeing it up on the big screen today? What are you most proud of with this show?
Well, something that I really like seeing it on screen is the sound and the music, because I did that part of it, and I put a lot of effort into the sound and the music of the films, and so I just thought that it sounded quite good and quite powerful in the cinema. So that was maybe what I was very proud of. I mean, yeah, I don't know if you guys want to say something about that. Well, you guys were more proud of.
I mean,
He's just taken 2 flights to get here. Stop making him talk.
No, you can go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. People never ask that question. I wrote the first draft of this script when I was 21. I'm now 28. So it was a film that I've kind of wanted to make for a long time. So, and I'm sure you kind of write a lot of. I at least write a lot of things over the years I kind of just forget about, and I lose interest. But then this one kind of always had in my back pocket. I'm just proud to have finally seen it through to fruition, and to see the kind of Yiddish folklore that I always found so exciting. There was in the 1920s, 1930s in America, there was a real kind of golden age of Yiddish cinema that kind of died out after the war. So, and there's been a renewed interest for some reason in the last kind of couple of decades. On Netflix, there's all sorts of shows which have a renewed interest in the Yiddish language and Yiddish stories. So, but they don't do this. They don't have this kind of shtetl, Eastern Europe horror thing, and try and root it in some sort of authenticity. So I guess I'm proud of having made it, because it just took so long. It might, to get it to happen, and also just I think it's so exciting for me, not even as the maker, just as an observer, to see this world on screen.
Do we have any questions from the audience? Yeah, you'll have to shout it, unfortunately.
And you guys don't have to answer this, and if you don't, I understand. But what sort of budget did you have for these films?
I don't mind answering at all. It was 1.5, 1.6K. And this one, since we were such a small kind of crew and we did it all just in family, we did rent like very good lenses specifically. So yeah, most of the budget went into getting like those good lenses and like a good camera. Yeah.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Yes, I was at, because it was a low budget film, I was at every market and Sunday, like, we have like, in Madrid we have El Rastro, it's like a Sunday market, looking for cheap old books and candlesticks and things like that. And with the styling, like, I ordered the cheapest belt and like leather, and just made the leather belt skirt and just different things. So I think actually to answer what you're what I'm proud of. I'm proud of doing that stuff, and I think it looks really cool. And so I really enjoyed that part, like putting those like simple pieces together. And yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's a complicated question to answer for Seed of Doubt, only because so the film was made in film school. It's my grad film, and how that works at the NFTS is that they give you a budget. You can't bring anything else in. So that budget is about 19K, but that's it. In a way, it's kind of a lot more than that, because the film school, how it functions is you have a lot of students working on the film on their courses, such as the AD course, the production management course. They're not getting paid. They're on their course, and part of their course is to work on whatever film I choose, I guess. So that 19K can really go into other things like props and VFX, whatever it is. I think if you were to kind of add in, all the people, if you were to like kind of add it up as if everyone's getting paid. For example, this was shot on 16mm, which the school supplied for me, so that also doesn't come into the 20K. And we want a set. You kind of apply for these small things. Like we want a set build, which we don't have to pay for. So it might even come to like 60, 70K if I was to really add it all up, what it should cost, assuming everyone's getting paid and wasn't a student. But so yeah, that's kind of the best I can answer it.
So if you want to make a film, go to film school, they'll make it for you.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a similar experience in the past, because I did a short abroad program in FAMU in Czech Republic, and it was similar. I made a film in 35mm, and they provided so much, and also you had so many students and so many people doing like fabulous work for free. So that really is amazing, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive, massive privilege, and I mean, it's why it took me so long to make the film, is because I never would have ever been able to make something like that outside of film school.
Any other questions? So I'm going to end on one last question, and that is, everybody is inspired by somebody. Everybody looks up to filmmakers, creators, and when they get into this filmmaking journey, that they take inspiration from. If you could show your short movie to any director, it could be alive or dead, for a little bit of feedback on your short, which person would you choose to show it to and why?
I think I'd be humiliated to show it to any of my idols, to be totally honest with you.
You have to remember, everybody starts somewhere.
I mean, God, I want to vomit even saying this, but I guess Bergman would be someone I'd be very curious. I mean, it's very different, obviously, to anything he's made, but, he's just such a hero of mine, and I think his work is, I don't know, some sort of DNA I would like to think is somewhere in the DNA of my work as well. Probably more thematically than anything. So, Bergman, please don't. I'm so sorry. I know you're rolling in your grave right now, but it'd be nice for some feedback.
For me, maybe because I love the quirkiness of this director's films, and I don't know, I would like for him to comment on the slight quirkiness of this film, if there's any. And it's not even close, but. It would probably be Shinya Tsukamoto, because I just really love the craziness of his films, and it's also very horror adjacent, so I feel like for this particular one, yeah, it would make sense maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it would be Shinya Tsukamoto. Would you guys show it to anybody? For feedback.
I mean, I don't know if I want to hear anyone's feedback on my acting. This is my first time, so I'll probably just be quiet for a couple more roles.
Me too.
Okay.
Right, guys. Well, thank you so much for submitting your shorts to the festival. Thank you for letting us show up here today, and most of all, thank you for making the journey and being here. It's been brilliant speaking to you. Can we get a little round of applause?
Thank you so much. Thank you.